All right. I am here with Mike Patton of, do we call it AA or double A? I forget.
Double A is what most people call it, but that was because of the double A highway.
Right, exactly. The AA home inspections. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing good up yourself.
I'm good. I have a burning question. So, what the heck is radon? Why does it feel like all of a sudden we're testing for it now when we didn't used to test for it?
Short version of that story is naturally occurring, tasteless, odorless, sightless gas comes in through cracks. Basically, it's substrate of the materials beneath of the property. And
Okay.
all houses have a chimney effect. All houses suck. They actually draw air from the soil going up through the roof line.
Okay.
And whenever you've got a high concentration of radon in one particular area, that basically emits and comes up through the slabs, and that's where you come from.
But
So it's a
why? I guess I have like two questions about that.
mhm.
If it's a natural gas, that means that like it's always been there. Is it
Yep.
now like killing people where it wasn't before, or we just didn't know what it was?
You didn't know what it was. There's a little bit of history that goes back to Mammoth Caves down here in Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mammoth Caves, so I hear this third party, I'd have to actually dig to confirm this. They had a lot of lung cancer deaths from
Oh,
employees of Mammoth Caves. They were pulling air from the caves and using it for AC at one point in time, so I'm told, which was circulating. Basically, you was on the receiving end of a radon mitigation system.
oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of history goes to it, but it actually got really brought to attention. I'd say it was in the early 80s, late 70s out of Pennsylvania when a nuke site said somebody had taken something home because he came in hot, waving for the nukes, got to his house off the map with high radon concentrations,
Wow.
and found out the entire subdivision was built on mine tailings,
Oh my God.
uranium rich.
So are more because we're kind of there's not a lot of land left, is like a lot of the land that is now being built on like more prone to potentially having radon or no?
Yeah, you can look. There's a map they call the karst map that the EPA publishes. And
Okay.
on that karst map, it shows regions as far as the ratings on what high areas are, low readings or low reading areas. And really, if you'll think about it, how many homes have you been in the past 10 years? A couple of them?
Yeah, a
You
few.
see, you see four of them in a row that you just happen to go in and out of. And you notice that one has a leaky basement, but the other three don't. Very similar conversation. What's the soil substrates doing beneath? That one
Hmm.
happens to have a water source that the others don't have, where this one may have a radon source that the others don't have.
I
And
see.
about 1/3 of the houses that we test, old or new, come up high in our region. So it's got very little to do with
That's a
less quality
lot.
locations. It's over 30%.
Now, radon is the radon test is like an add-on to the whole house inspection.
It is.
Is there ever a time that you say, well, a radon test really wouldn't be worth it for this house, or is it something you always recommend?
Well, let's go back 20 years ago and move forward about 5 years on that statement. And I would look at a house and I'd go along with everybody else and say, hey, it's above grade. You got a walkout basement. You don't even have a basement. You're on a crawl space. I wouldn't bother with testing. Well, as those numbers started coming back, I found out I was wrong as often as I was right.
Hmm.
So there's no way of predicting what a house will or will not have as
Okay.
far as a radon reading. And the other one
Okay.
is federal buildings have to be tested. Again, hearsay, third party information coming from classes I've been in the past. I think it was a fourth floor on a federal building where they have to test radon all the time
Hmm.
annually.
Hmm.
No floor had radon except for the fourth floor, which made no sense.
Really?
But yet their mechanical chases, I think they said it was electrical chase, had been left open on the fourth floor and the actual conduits went below grade, and that conduit was broken below grade, and it was working like the chimney. The house was sucking, being a building, and it was pulling radon gas out on the fourth floor.
That's crazy. So, because it's like a different gas than carbon monoxide or
Yes.
whatever, the carbon monoxide detectors aren't going to detect radon, right?
No, will
But
not.
it seems to me that when I've seen radon mitigation systems, they're not like this is not like a scary, like big deal, expensive. Like it's a
No.
pretty talk to us about that.
Yeah, as far as the radon mitigation systems go, you've got several choices, two main choices, I should say, on the way those get handled. The first one that you're going to see is where a builder has already put in a radon system, being a static system, no fan on it, no nothing else. It doesn't do anything for you. It may vent out through the stack effect we've been describing, but typically if you come up high, you put a motor on it, a blower.
Okay,
Okay. When you've
because
done
that will
that,
suck out the gas that's been
it's
sucked
a
in.
it's
Okay.
a vacuum pump and it
Hmm.
sucks air out and discharges above the roof line.
Okay.
Now on retrofits, we come back in and all Clear Radon, which is a sister company of ours, uh, we go in and we core drill. If it's a basement, we core drill near the foundation or the footers, you should say, through the concrete floor.
Hmm.
We evacuate up through and outside of the house where we'll put a blower on the exterior of the home where the other system would be in the attic typically. Now this is going to be on the outside. And for the most part, if I'd been prepped on that one, I would have said, if you think of a basketball, it's going to look
Hmm.
about like a smaller than a white basketball on the outside of your house with 3-inch pipe.
Yeah, and it's
Typically
like kind of a
4-4 inch
little
pipe.
flatter than a basketball. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's kind of diamond
like a
shaped as far as
spaceship.
for size.
Yeah,
We're talking to a bunch of people who understand basketballs, so.
exactly,
But
exactly.
anyway, there's not much of a, really, there's nothing that you notice once it's there. You don't pay much attention. But yet a lot of people will see these on the pipe in the basement, and
Hmm.
it's a sight gauge,
Okay.
nanotube, and it basically shows you the differential of what the fan is doing. It does not measure radon, but it's just like when you suck water up through a straw. If you can tell in that picture, we're down below zero now, where if we pull the
Right.
vacuum up here, it's going to go right back up like it was. And that indicates the fan system is working. So I would
Okay.
encourage anyone that's got one of these systems, go check this, typically located in the basement or the garage. And if it's sitting there looking like this, you don't have a functioning system.
That's not good. Well, if sellers are curious and want to get a pre-inspection on their home, or there's buyers that are watching and they are looking for a home inspector, what is the best way to get a hold of you and schedule an inspection or ask you questions?
For us, as far as if you're wanting to get AA home inspection out there, our office numbers always take it as far as 859-448-0213 is the main number. We've got 513, we've got all the other phone numbers, but basically come in on a AA home inspection site. We can also do that through All Clear Radon, again, our sister company that handles all the mitigation.
Okay.
So combined, and then one comment for you, and this is kind of the public service announcement, is if you are going to have somebody do the testing and then do
Hmm.
the mitigation, ask for third-party verification, because we use a contractor outside that does the original test. If we do an install on the equipment, we bring back in the third party again. We don't test our own systems.
I think that's a good rule of thumb, right? Because then it's like you have eyes on it from other parties, not just the one that says it was there, then they fixed it, and then yeah, I like that tip. All right, Mike, give us your phone, give us the phone number one more time.
859-448-0213.
Awesome. I appreciate you being on. We always learn a lot. Thank you.
Take care now.
See ya.